It is an absolutely beautiful day today. The wind's blowing. I live in Florida, so we do have to fight with the humidity here and there. Don't move to Florida if you're not ready for the humidity, that is. Welcome back to the channel. For those of you who are new, I see we have quite a bit of new subscribers who have come from the previous video titled Just Another Man That's Tired. And I didn't really expect for people to respond to it the way that they did. If you don't know who I am, my name is D, aka Initial D, and this is Initial Speaks, where I speak my mind. And hopefully there are people out here who can feel my perspective and I can give some sort of insight to you, whether you're male or female, to make you think a little bit, thought-provoking topics, because there's enough of nonsense here on the internet, and I just did not want to be another channel that added to the nonsense. So let's talk about the elephant in the room. I am so tired of this era of men versus women. God made Adam and Eve. There was Bonnie and Clyde. We need each other. Men and women need each other. We can't create life without one another. We can't experience true peace and tranquility without one another. Now, some of you may be like, oh, let me stop you right there, bro. I'm just fine by myself. I don't need the headache of somebody in my life, literally calling them a liability. And okay, I get you. But I don't think there's anybody out here who would disagree with me when I say if there was somebody in this world for you who made you whole, who was the centerpiece of that void in your heart, that you would not want them in your life. You absolutely would, because we're not meant to be alone. So, let me just go ahead and state that. I'm tired of the men and women going back and forth, but, this particular video is talking, I'm going to be talking about why men don't open up. Ever since we were little boys, and ladies, and maybe some women watching this, so maybe I can elaborate. Ever since we were little boys, we've always been told, don't cry. Suck it up. Girls cry. Stop complaining. Stop whining. I'll give you something to whine about. That part right there. We're also told, and maybe there may be some young ladies out here that can resonate with this, to not ask any questions. Just because. I grew up in the black community, of course. We didn't believe in therapy. We didn't believe in giving explanations. It was just you get popped in the mouth, and that was it. You just did what mom said or what dad said, and there was really no sensitive approach to questions or anything of the sort. And for little boys, of course, we didn't get any mercy at all. Like if we hurt, we weren't allowed to express that emotion of pain. We just had to, get a Band-Aid, suck it up and go. Now, I know some of you I might be watching this and be like, well, I don't really see a problem with that. We don't need any soft men in this world. We need men that are hard and men that are tough and that will handle business. And let me tell you something, I agree. I agree, because there is a increase of effeminate men, and that's not good for society. However, we don't need these stone cold hearted men either, who can't sympathize with our women. I had a conversation with a young lady the other day. She said, I love the way you're raising your boys. You're allowing them to express themselves. You're allowing them to cry. You're allowing them to open up to you without you yelling and screaming at them and threatening them. You're doing the right thing, because when they're men, they'll be able to relate and to understand women. We have this part of us as men who endured all of that as kids, that simply just, we don't want to fail. We want to succeed. We want to protect. And that is a very difficult thing to hold on our shoulders. And many of us, failure isn't an option. We have to succeed, or we just get left with the wave. We get passed by. We get cast away, if you will, if we don't perform. We don't share our feelings because we live in a society that does not promote rest. We live in a society that says, I can sleep when I die. We live in a society that is overworked, underpaid. We live in a society that does not like to wait, and that everything needs to be rushed overnight, done in a hurry, done perfectly. And as men, we feel we can't afford any error whatsoever. Because the moment that we say we're tired, we're looked at as lazy. The moment that we say we don't feel good, we are looked at as some sort of weak beta male, as if men don't get sick. When we say that, hey, this is a little too much for me, people look at us as if we are working insufficiently. It's almost like we're not allowed to say no, and that we have to do whatever comes our way, and that saying no is just going to cause people to look at us as subpar. And no man wants to be looked at as subpar. We all want to be respected. We all want to be acknowledged for our hard work and dedication. So we suppress these feelings. We don't tell people that we hurt, whether it be physically or emotionally. We don't tell people that we're tired because we don't want to miss out on opportunities, and we don't want people to look past us. Men feel expendable because if we show any type of human emotion, it is considered to be weakness in the eyes of society. And because of this, there's a higher percentage of men who unalive themselves than women, because the pressure just tends to get to them. The tension just gets to them. The fact that they just feel like they can't open up. It's like taking a bottle of soda and shaking it and shaking it and shaking it, and you just shake it and shake it to the point when you get ready to open the top, it just explodes. And that's how a lot of men are. Our emotions never get an opportunity to vent out anything. And I mean anything that you don't allow ventilation is going to implode at some point. You see, women don't have this problem because society expects for women to just, as they say, run their mouths, or to talk to their friends, or to just open up, express their emotions. Like it's almost crazy to think that people have not figured this out at this point. Women express themselves. They are not afraid to tell you how they feel. They're emotional creatures. We already know that. So we expect for them to tell us how they feel and they get it out. But men, we're looked at as these stoic, stone cold, emotionless people, which we're not, because we have all of the emotions in which a woman has, but we're not allowed to express that. So you have one sex over here who is allowed to express it and ventilate it, and another sex over here who is not allowed to express it and it's not ventilating. And we see men having heart attacks because they're overworked and they're tired. We see men unaliving themselves because they're not allowed to express themselves. Now, I will say in today's society that the acceptance of men opening up is the door starting to open up a little bit. It's starting to get cracked. It's not completely accepted. It probably will not ever be completely accepted. However, I do applaud. I applaud the women who are supporting it. There's a lot of women on social media that are supporting men opening up because ladies know we need our men. We want our men. We cannot live without our men. Men definitely are considered to be the protectors. We are the providers. We are the base of family. And that's never going to change at the end of the day. I don't care what society says. I don't care about the narrative. Common sense. Men are needed. But let me lean in for a little bit. If you want us around, give us a space to open up. If you want us around, give us an ear so we can speak. If you want us around, act like you want us around. Because it's hard. No man wants to fail. But sometimes failure happens. But failure isn't always a bad thing. Sometimes failure is an opportunity for us to go another pathway because not all pathways are meant for us to take. You got to fail a few times to find your strive, right? At least that's my perspective on life. That's what I've discovered because I've failed at many different things and I've finally discovered things that work for me. Another reason that men don't open up is because the moment that we do open up to certain people, it gets thrown back in our faces. Most men are private, and we don't want our business out in front of the world. We don't want our lives and business compromised. But in a moment of vulnerability, when we think we can tell somebody something in confidence, somehow it gets leaked out, possibly from malicious intent or somebody being vindictive or whatever the case may be. And in some instances, it can be pretty damaging. And when this happens to a man, it's going to be very hard for them to open up to somebody else. It's going to be very difficult for them to trust somebody. But we as men don't trust very often. And when that's broken, we tend to hide away. We tend to shut the door. Thinking that, if this person hurt me, if that person hurt me, then everyone's going to hurt me. So I can't trust anybody. And at the end of the day, that causes us to hide away and to become stoic, heartless, emotionless, because that's what the world wants us to be. And that's not a good place because that opens up the gateways of a dark place that a lot of men end up going because they just feel like there's no one that they can talk to. Last week I talked with a gentleman that's going through some stuff at home and, he made a mistake. We talked about it and he's like, bro, I feel like I didn't have nobody to talk to. And I told him, listen, if you feel like you don't have anybody to talk to, call me and don't make any more dumb decisions. A lot of men make dumb decisions because we feel like we don't have anybody to talk to. It's not exactly easy opening up to somebody and being vulnerable without feeling like they're going to judge you or utilize it against you. That's why they always say, pick your friends very carefully. Pick the people that you associate with very carefully and don't just give information to just anybody. There's nothing more that I want than to see more men be vulnerable because we would see less men offering themselves. We would see less men feeling the pressure of performance. And we would see more men being happy. We would see more men feeling content. We would see more men wanting to help others and to be more sensitive. Now, whoever told you that a sensitive man is a weak man doesn't know what true strength really is. Strength comes from within. And being sensitive has nothing to do with being weak or soft, but it's about having the ability to to tap into that emotion, because sometimes there are people in which we deal with who may not be able to resonate with the hardness. They may not be able to resonate with you being tough, but coming down to their level and being able to understand them, that takes real strength and control and discipline at the end of the day. We got to do better as a society. Once again, ladies, we need you. We do. And I just hope that you look down deep and realize that you need us. And we can be vulnerable together. And we can talk out our problems without yelling. We can talk out our problems without being vindictive. We can come together and live in happiness and peace, raising families, contributing to society. There's a really evil spirit right now that's in this country of America that's pinning men and women against each other, and I hate it. And it's making us isolate each other. But that's another story for another day. Hey, if you like this video, if you like this type of stuff, comment down below your thoughts. If you're a man that feels like you can't trust somebody or you can't open up to somebody, comment down below. I want to hear from you. Subscribe to this channel if you're new. God bless. Peace.